Okay people, this is himself, and in this video I'm going to show you Oki for King's chain throws, because once you've taken a third of their life, why not kick them while they're down? Let's start off with the ankle hold. The first ender is STF and they end up face down feet towards, and from here an alley kick is guaranteed. If it hits them on the ground then it does 7 damage, but if it hits them standing then it does 11. What that means is that your total damage is 71, 74 or 76. For a bit more risk but a bit more damage, you can go for DF1-2. This will hit wake up kicks and standers, and it means that your total damage is just over 90. The first hit will also hit side rolls, giving you 72, but against back roll and staying grounded, you'll whiff. For even more risk and even more damage, you can try F+2-1. This will hit standers, back rollers and wake up kicks, and it takes your total damage to either 97 or 99. The danger though is that if they side roll or stay grounded, they'll definitely get a wake up kick on you, and at some angles wake up 3 might flip into a launch, so you do need to be careful. Now if you know they're gonna stand, then your best option is the D1 ender. This will hit them in the back and you get a launch, and from there you can either go for the consistent guaranteed damage or the burning knuckle. If you get a hard read on wake up kicks, then your best option is hop knee. This will beat out both of them and it gets you a launch, and it will also launch people who stand up, but against back rollers you'll whiff and you'll probably get punished. What that leaves is side rolling and staying grounded, and your best option here is ground throws. With side rolls you'll get the half Boston Crab, and from there you can get another ground throw into your alley kick, and the total damage is 138. An alternative is replacing the second ground throw with People's Elbow. Now this only does 110 damage, but it's a guaranteed hit. One last option is when you have Rage. Here you can Rage Drive after the first ground throw, sidewalk into another Boston Crab and then finish with People's Elbow. This does 168 damage, which is almost death. Now what you could do is replace the People's Elbow with the bow and arrow stretch, and that would get you over 170, but I think that before starting the change you'll probably have done 2 points of damage somewhere, so it's not entirely necessary. Against people who stay grounded, I expected the same ground throw, but because you're at an angle you actually end up with camel clutch and you don't get the same follow-ups. Nevertheless, you still do a total of 95 damage, and there might be some Oki as well. I haven't investigated it yet, but when I do, I'll let you guys know about it. Now before I move on to the rest of the throws, I want to mention that I've already done a video showing easy inputs for all of these, so if you're having trouble with any of them, be sure to check it out. There's a card in the corner and a link in the comments. I've also listed in the comments future videos that I'm working on, so if you want me to prioritise any of these, let me know about it. Back to chain throw Oki. The next ender is Scorpion Deathlock, and just like STF, they end up face down feet towards, and because King recovers in a similar way, your Oki options are pretty much the same. An alley kick is still guaranteed, F+2-1 covers the same options, and so does hop knee. It's also the same story with DF1 and ground throws, so anything I mentioned for STF can be applied here. The only difference is with the Rage Drive sequence. Since Scorpion Deathlock does more damage, you don't need to do the second Boston Crab. Instead, you just go straight into bow and arrow stretch and then finish with alley kick. Last ender from ankle hold is Kingsbridge, and as with the previous 2 throws, they end up face down feet towards. But unlike those 2, an alley kick is not guaranteed, and this is because they can back roll to escape, and also hop knee will whiff on people who stand. But F+2-1 still works the same way, and so do the ground throws. In fact, on an idle opponent you won't get camel clutch, instead you'll get Boston Crab, which is way better, and from there you can do the second throw and finish with alley kick, which is enough to kill. If you have Rage, you don't even need to do the second throw, just do Rage Drive and then finish with People's Elbow. Let's move on to the arm break chain, and the first ender is triple extension, and sadly for this one I couldn't find any Oki. The reason for this is that they end up away from King and he recovers slowly, so there's not much you can do. I also tried this near the wall, but I still drew a blank, so my suggestion is just to avoid this one. Next ender is struggle combo, and this one actually has some good options. After the throw lands, they end up face up feet away, and from here an alley kick is guaranteed. Now the frame window for this is a little tight, but to reduce your risk you can use D4. This comes out 1 frame faster and it still covers all the options. The only downside is that it does 67 points less damage, but that's pretty much nothing. For a bit more risk but a bit more damage, you can do DF1-2. This will hit all options apart from side roll left and lying idle. And if both hits land, you get a total of 95 or 98. But if it's just DF1, then it's 77, but that's still more than an alley kick. As with the other chain throws, F+2-1 still works the same way. It hits back rollers and standards as well as wake up kicks. Hopping will also interrupt wake up kicks and it'll launch standards. But the difference here is with ground throws. Here you'll get Wing Ripper rather than Boston Crab, and on idle opponents you get the flip over. And I think a camel clutch attempt might be guaranteed, but I don't know for sure. If you do, please let me know in the comments. What that leaves is Dragon Sleeper and Death Cradle. And Dragon Sleeper leaves them face up feet away, and from here an alley kick is almost guaranteed. The only way they can escape is side running right, but to counter that we can use D4. This will cover all options apart from lying idle. DF1-2 works pretty much as expected. The only failings are against side roll right and lying idle. F+2-1 also works as expected. It hits standards, back rollers and wake up kicks, and Hopping follows suit. It beats stand up and wake up kicks. The situation with ground throws is pretty much the same as struggle combo. On side rolls you'll get the Wing Ripper, but you'll also get it on idle opponents, so there's no flip over here. And that brings us to Death Cradle, and this one's a bit different because they can stand up and block everything, so what we have to use here is a mix up. The first option I go for is D3. This will hit people on the floor, interrupts wake up kicks, and it forces them to stand up and duck to block it. And even if they do that, you're only at -12, so only a few characters will get good punishes. The second option is DF1. This will also beat out wake up kicks and it catches side roll left. It's also safe mid and it stops people crouching against D3. As always, the best option against side rolls is ground throws, and here you'll get either figure 4 or head bomber. But against people who stay still, you'll get flip over, and I think that guarantees another ground throw attempt. In this case it'll be bow and arrow stretch, and that grants an alley kick. If you have rage here, then you can just go for the rage drive, and that guarantees a jumping elbow. However, there are 2 more options I want to show you. The first is Frankensteiner. Against all the other throws, they can escape this by back rolling, but not here. Here it will connect on back rollers and standers, and it will also crush the low get up kick. Obviously they can interrupt it and side roll to escape, but I still think it's worth a try. The second option is power clothesline. If people stand up or back roll, they'll be waiting for the next attack, and if they're not too sharp, this will catch them. I also think an alley kick is guaranteed, and if it is, then it means death because you've done over 170 damage. So that's the Oki for chain throws. In my next video, I'll be showing you what I think is the best setup for them. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe and also hit the bell icon next to it. That way you'll get a notification every time I upload something new and you won't miss anything. Also, make sure you vote in the comment section for the new videos and drop me a like if you enjoyed this one, and I'll catch you guys in the future.